Alright, Parabolas Day 4. This lesson is about writing equations of parabolas. It's pretty straightforward. The first thing you want to make sure you do is sketch like a real quick sketch of the graph to determine which way it opens, and the sketch will help you find all your missing information. Then you want to determine which way it opens, right? Up, down, left, or right. Remember, if it opens up or down, it's x minus h squared equals 4p times y minus k, right? This is up or down. What determines if it's down is if 4p is negative. If it's y minus k squared equals 4p times x minus h, then you know it opens right or left, and that is based off of 4p being positive or negative. Then you want to find the vertex, okay, and then find p, and then write your equation. So let's look at example 1 here. Write the equation for the parabola with a vertex at 3, 0. So right away I look, 3, 0 is my vertex, and has a directrix of y equals 7. Now remember, right, y equals 7 is a horizontal line, and it's going to be somewhere up here. Now it's pretty important to understand what this means. Remember, the distance from the vertex to the directrix is the same as the distance from the vertex to the focus, right? And remember, this distance is your value of p, right? So right away we know p is going to be how many units away from the vertex is the directrix? 7. So we have p, but now we need the vertex, which is 3, 0. Now if I look, remember, if the vertex is here and the directrix is up above there, you know this parabola is opening down. Since it's opening down, you know you're going to use x minus h squared equals negative 4p times y minus k. So right away when I plug my vertex in here, it's going to be x minus, this is my h, so it's 3 all squared equals negative 4 times, what was the value of p? 7 times y minus, what's k? Well, k is 0. So now let's make this look a little cleaner. So x minus 3 squared equals negative 4 times 7 is negative 28 times y minus 0. Another way you could write this one, because you could also write this as x minus 3 squared equals negative 28y, because y minus 0 is just going to be y. Okay? Number 2, write the equation for the parabola with a focus of 2, 4 and a directrix at x equals negative 4. So this is where you need a pretty good sketch, right? So my focus is at 2, 4. My directrix is at the line x equals negative 4. So here's my directrix. It's a vertical line. So once I have my focus and my focus and directrix graphed, remember, the vertex is always directly in the middle. So if I go from negative 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spots, that means I'm going to go left 1, 2, 3 from the focus, and that's where my vertex is going to be. Remember, this is opening right because my directrix is a vertical line. So now, right away here, my vertex ends up being at, negative 1, 4, okay? Then in addition to that, I can find P Because what is the distance from the vertex to the focus? We said that was 1, 2, 3 units. So right away, P is 3. Since it opens right, I know it's in the form y minus k squared equals 4p times x minus h. So y minus, what's my k value? This is h, this is k, so it's 4 squared equals, what's 4 times 3? 12 times x minus h is negative 1. But when I subtract the negative, it becomes a positive, and this is the equation of your parabola. Okay, number 3. First, we sketch our graph, right? My vertex is at 2, negative 3, and my focus is at 2, negative 5. So right away, I have to recognize the parabola always eats the vertex, the focus. Therefore, I know this opens down. And if this opens down, I'm going to use x minus h squared equals negative 4p times y minus k. So right away, if my vertex is at 2, negative 3, I already have h and k. Now I need p. Well, what is the distance between the vertex and the focus? That would be 2 units. So p is 2. So x minus, what's h? 2, all squared equals, what's negative 4 times 2 going to give you? Negative 8 times y minus negative 3. Bling bling that. And here is your equation. Alright. Number 4. Write an equation for a parabola whose focus is at negative 3, 4 and directrix is aligned y equals 2. So again, this gets a little tricky here. So my focus is at negative 3, 4. And my directrix is the line y equals 2, which is a horizontal line. Remember, the parabola will always open in the opposite direction of the directrix. So right away I know it's going to open up somewhere like this, meaning up. So my equation is in a form x minus h squared equals 4p times y minus k. So right away, do I know my vertex? No, but I know my vertex is going to land directly in between the directrix and the focus. So in this case, if this is at 2 and this is at 4, I know 3 is going to be the middle. So right there, my vertex is at negative 3, 3. So my vertex is at negative 3, 3. And now I need P. What is the distance from the vertex to the focus? Right? So from 3 to 4 is 1 unit. So P is 1. So now my equation, x minus negative 3, bling bling, it becomes plus 3 all squared, equals 4 times 1 is 4 times y minus 3. And that is my equation. Okay, now the last one here. Right away, 0, 2 is my vertex. It opens left, so I know I'm using y minus k squared equals negative 4p times x minus h. But here's the thing. I know my vertex, so I know y minus 2 all squared equals. The thing I don't know right now is p. So I'm going to leave this as negative 4p times x minus 0. So how do I find p if I don't have the focus or directrix? Well, since this is a point on the parabola, what I'm going to do is plug that in. So I see a y here. I'm going to replace it with the y value of that ordered pair, which is negative 4. Then minus 2 all squared equals negative 4p times, what am I going to replace x with? What's the x coordinate? Negative 6. So right away here, I can go ahead and solve for p. So that would be negative 6 squared equals negative 4 times negative 6 is 24p. So 36 equals 24p. And if I divide by 24, I would get p is equal to, so p is going to be 1.5. So now I can go and plug everything back up here. So it's going to be y minus 2 all squared equals negative 4 times 1.5 is going to give you negative 6. So it's negative 6 times x minus 0, or just x. And there's my equation. This one's a little more tricky. If you don't truly understand it, it's not a huge deal. But hopefully you have a good idea of how I found that out. Go ahead, try the homework, and come back later and check your answer.